Hello, welcome to Anything Relevant. I got something I want to kind of a mental mind spill of thoughts on this topic. I want to talk about plastic, and I want to talk about it from where it affects me the most. I work at a grocery store, and we deal with a lot of plastic. We had a customer in the other day talking about how there's plastic in everything that we sell, and it is the case. And we had these local strawberries that were in a cardboard box with cellophane wrap around it. She was disappointed when those were pointed out to her. She's like, they're covered in cellophane. Like, well, yeah, gotta wrap them, keep them fresh, keep them from getting eaten by customers that like to graze when they walk through the store. She wanted, she's on, the kick of getting rid of all plastic, and I'm not against it. I'm not against it, but now it's hard these days to know when propaganda is real in the sense like what I mean by propaganda being real, I mean someone putting together concise information, very tightly drummed together and put out to counter some sort of movement that's happening. Sometimes you need to do that because people get whipped up into a frenzy and make mistakes. And they're running down a path they think is right, but they don't have all the information. So we're in an information truth versus lie era right now. And what I've been reading on the opposing to don't pull the plug on plastic because the alternative will be worse for the environment. That's really hard to take. That's really hard to believe. I'm going to have to do some more research on that. But there is something to be said about that as a takeaway worse on the environment. But let's take this kind of argument. Getting rid of plastic now would be less cost effective against the improvement of being environmentally aware. What does that mean? That means that the alternative is available, but the demand that would be needed for those available alternatives is not there. So what should we do? Well, we should invest and encourage and help grow the alternative. There's beeswax type of wrap that's being advertised on the internet right now. You can wrap your food in it. It's like a sheet of paper made out of beeswax. So you can use it for like 100 times or something like that. And then once it loses its ability to keep things fresh as well as its ability to hug on to a container, you just cut it up and put it in your recycling bin. So that's an alternative. I say we have to have a alternative that's already ready to meet the supply. That does not mean we ignore those up and growing replacements. In fact, I say we encourage them to grow quickly because the status quo needs to change. But why jump out of a perfectly functional, it gets the job done right now, but the byproduct is that we're having a lot of media exposure with it being in the ocean and being in whales' stomachs and in us. So that's bad, but can you cut plastic cold turkey? No, you can't. And that's what this video is about, is that just because something's bad doesn't mean that an immediate cold turkey change will save everything. Because you have to think about all that the industries that rely on plastic will all be halted. That's huge. That's not light. We're talking fast food to truck driving, from teaching to working at a grocery store. All of this will be affected and everything in between, and the prices will skyrocket on things, as well as companies will go out of business overnight. There'll be so much change and very little ability to save anything. So that's the catastrophe in that direction. Well, that doesn't sound ecological. It sounds more of a social and whatnot. I think we could tough that out. I think we can adapt to it if we do it anyway. Well, maybe. Am I saying it's the end of the world that we stop using plastic? I say any type of massive change involving something like that is interwoven into everything has the high possibility of causing damage that a single lifetime they will not be able to see the comeback, the rebound. And that is scary. Talk to your grandparents about the Great Depression. Or, your great-grandparents. Or your grandparents, depending on what generation you are. Point being is that just because you want something, just because you think it's the right decisions to go, there's a certain level of awareness and responsibility to not run to that alternative, but to walk with purpose, with wide open eyes and purpose to get to that new direction. This is where you get that expression, like a cruise ship. Can't turn a cruise ship around on a dime. You forgot something and you're already out at sea. It's best just to drop a boat and send it in the other direction and catch up with you again, then turn around. It's a massive undertaking to get rid of all plastic out of our society overnight. The devastation on how far it can reach, I can't fathom. I don't know how far I'll go. I don't know how economical challenge that will be, as well as, like I say, the alternatives aren't there to take the weight. It's like if someone was strong enough to hold 1,000 pounds, and they're like, well, you vote me off, you vote me out of here, well, someone's still got to hold this 1,000 pounds. And you hand it over to someone that can hold 50 pounds. Squish. That's what I'm talking about. If we're not ready, the impact can be devastating. So am I pro-plastic? Absolutely not. I every day at work, I'm picking up plastic bags. I'm picking up all sorts of garbage that customers leave behind. You'd think that adults, responsible, tidy, very, very aware adults shop at grocery stores. You'd think that, but they don't. All these people that drive to the store turn into children as soon as they pass a threshold. They don't talk. They rarely ask questions. They invade your personal space to reach for something, and they don't even say, excuse me. They just quietly just reach past you and brush against your back. It's weird. It's creepy. I don't know what it is about customers once they get into a grocery store. It's like it turns into a library. Nobody talks. No one wants to make eye contact. Very little conversing going on. And it's just so weird. So because of this, the customers are the worst. It's not the manufacturers or the co-workers. It's the customers. They have this laissez-faire way of dealing with garbage when they're inside of a store. It's like, well, I've got garbage that's my garbage, but since I'm in your store, it's your responsibility. So can you change plastic overnight? No, you can't. I would love to, so I can have a completely transformative experience at work without all that plastic. But this is from my perspective, working at a grocery store. This is not a whole world view that everyone needs to adopt. More on the lines of I'm sharing this, and hopefully it gets into the mind of you, and then you share it with someone else, and so on and so forth. That people take this information and chew on it, and then think, how does plastic affect me, and what's my relationship with plastic? That's all this video is about here. There's no I'm right and everyone else is wrong. I am just sharing with how I have seen the plastic integrating our society from the seat I'm sitting in. I hope this has been helpful to you, and or at least entertaining to hear my mad ramblings. But yeah, I think that plastic can be replaced, but we need a suitable, responsible replacement that's ready. And until it's ready, we're going to have to just be more responsible, more strict with plastic. I also am big on that. Be more strict, be more responsible. I think that grocery stores should be able to talk to the producers of these products, being like, we want you to figure out to get rid of this material. We don't want to buy your product if it has this material in it. Can you find a new? I'm not saying get it done now, but pitch me the next time I order from you that you've looked at alternatives. Every company should be hearing this from people that buy from them. Everyone that buys from people should be saying this to encourage change. It's just that we have to have it ready first. So that's all I'm really getting at. And thank you for dropping by. Have a good day.